Yo, down here in Laredo, Texas. Uh, Finally got back into a dock. I got here yesterday at 4 o'clock, man, and it's 10:36, and they will make you walk a quarter mile back to your truck to get your vest because safety, right? Anyway, if you're on a weight loss journey, I highly recommend that you go to Laredo, Texas. Yesterday, it was, at one point, it said 120 on the dash. And if you want to do one of these leisurely walk type exercise routines, you will need to drink more than a gallon of water. I drank 6 of these yesterday. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And it's so hot. When I went to the truck stop, I took a shower. I got out of the shower. I walked out. I had this hat on my head. Straight out of the shower. I took the towel and I wiped my face. I put my clothes on. My shirt was wet. Which probably is terrible mental pictures as you'd think it would be for me to be having a wet t-shirt contest in Laredo, Texas. I walked my fat self back to the truck, at which point I realized I was dry. I took my hat off. My hair was dry. It was so hot. There was no wind, really. It got windy later, but when I took a shower, it wasn't that windy. And, yeah, buddy. Dude. It's ridiculously hot. So we're back on the water today, and we are looking for some, we're going to have a meeting today with the boss man, and we're going to get some restarts at the house. Going to take a hit financially to do it, but I'm in a good season. I got my stuff set up and everything like that. It's a short month. We only got 3 Fridays this month for my payroll situation. So if I play my cards right, which I think I'm playing them correctly, I think this. So I got this week, and then if I run 2 more weeks, it would be plenty for the bills. And then that would give me a week and a half of transition. You live off the credit cards, let the debit cards sit, and have a few days at home to finish up some spring cleaning, finalize the apartment, talk with the realtor about getting the renter situation, identify a handyman where I could leave a card on file with the handyman. Renter says it needs to be fixed, and boom, it gets fixed. I don't know if I need to LLC this thing to create some separation in case the renter falls down. Probably should. I know I should. I don't even know why I say probably, but I need to go ahead and take that leap and do that and set that up and be able to transact, which I do not know how to do. I know how to do all this stuff, but I don't know how to do it legally. I've always been a cash man. So, and I don't think it's that complicated. I think it's a few $100s and sit down and talk with a CPA situation. So it's like one of the things, like I just never got over the hump to do it. And I've been trying to get my wife to do it, and it's my responsibility. So I got to suck it up, buttercup, go to the office. I'm dealing with PTSD from middle school, where you're like, go to the office, Mr. DeGraff. I'm like, and it's always something bad after that. And then, like, my parents did not spare the rod if I got in trouble at school. So, I think there's some psychologicals there that are playing into this. But you got to grow up sometime, right? How you going to take over the earth for Jesus if you can't figure out how to do an LLC? And you already know how to do it yourself due to your YouTube certification. So it's not like it's that big a deal in all reality. But it would be cool if the person renting my apartment thought that my wife was also renting the house. So if they were ever pissed off and wanted to lash out in a bad scenario, then my wife could be like, yeah, stupid management company or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then if the realtor's quarterback in the situation, it's like $130 for them to manage it, right? And then like on-call handyman, that would work. And if I'm coming home every weekend, unless it's just some retarded emergency, unless it's some necessity, immediate need, I could just fix it when I got home on the weekend, which there again would be cool. And I like the separation thought of like this management thing. So they're not coming to me saying, "Oh man, can you work with me on this and that?" And I could be like, "Well, yeah, of course I can work with you," or whatever. You know what I mean? And then like I could just be the good neighbor where they're like, "Hey, I'm short a little bit on rent. Can you help me?" or whatever like that. I'll be like, "Here's a few hundred to get you through." You know what I mean? And then me and that guy's good neighbors, and we're both renting from the management company. But that's kind of crooked. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, it looks like my dad's calling. That's a good sign. I think I won't do that. I think I'll let him know that I own the place. I want to be real transparent and honest. Like, why lie? I mean, that would be why, actually, but I don't think I would. I think I would just be like, yeah, I own this place, but this is the management deal, and this is the way it's set up because that's the way I have to provide for my wife and children. And if they care enough to receive that thought and be a good dude, that is a sign that I can be that guy that says, "Hey, look, you got to pay this thing on time. Like, I'm going to go ahead and pay it for you since it's coming right back to me anyway." Right? And then we're gonna make sure that your rental history looks great and help you with your financial standing on the computer so you can be a productive member. You know what I mean? And actually just do a little mentor, just be a good dude type of deal. Anyway, I'm gonna call Dad back. Raquel, I seen a guy last night. Boy, he was fired up. Is a young black feller. I'd say he's probably about 22. He knew so much about the Bible, and I mean, he was on point, just hitting it, boom, boom, boom. And this dude was so stuck in the racism. Dude, we all have to be born again. So, message of the day, Bible style, is you're raised up from baptism, a new creation. It doesn't matter what your bloodline is. It doesn't matter what race, creed, or color you are. When you're raised up at baptism, you're made a new creation. I don't know who needs to hear this, but like, if you run across like a very loud Hebrew Israelite type of fella, there's like a group of them. I don't know exactly how they describe themselves, but they seem to be real loud and aggressive. And I don't think this guy was one of them. However, he had the same hang-up of the Hebrew Israelite thing. Like, he would make a point and he'd push a little button and he had like the canned laughter thing. Like, one of them was like, shots fired or whatever like that. And so it was pretty cool the way it animated his live show, which was real good. And he was on point with all his scriptures. Everything was right. But he was missing the boat of grace. Grace set sail, and he was not on it. And I hope to interact with him quite a bit more and help him to understand. Like, nobody's going to make it. Nobody. Literally, no human will make it without Jesus. Like, he's the way, the truth, and the life. And I said something on a different Old Boys deal, and I mentioned the way, the truth, and the life. Now, the thing had the temple that Solomon built. It had like this room, and this room. And this one right here was the Holy of Holies, and that's where that veil was. They'd be right here, whatever. They'd sprinkle the blood and stuff like that, and they'd purify themselves. Then, like, right over here was where they walked in. So you had like the entrance, the purification, sprinkle the blood, put the bells on the guy, tie a rope around his foot. Because when he entered it, like, he didn't even sleep the night before, so he didn't sin in his dream. And he might not have slept because of anxiety that he's fixed to go behind the veil and talk to God, and no sin can enter. So if he was slightly wrong, he would die when God showed up, and they'd hear the bells when he hit the floor, and they'd drag this old boy out because they wasn't going in there either. Okay, when Jesus, they referred to those three as the way, the truth, and the life. So like the actual life force was in the Holy of Holies, and which was the most sacred place. That's where the Most High would actually show up. And you better have your stuff right when you're in His presence, or you will die. Reminds me of that Mortal Kombat. You will die. Anyway, so they called that the way, the truth, and the life. So when Jesus was standing before the crowd and he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Another place he said, when you tear down this temple, I will rebuild it in 3 days. All those things is what he was talking about. And that gives us a precedence to understand that some of what he said was both physically true and metaphorically true. There's a schism in the kinfolk in the churches where somebody says, oh, well, it's metaphor. Oh, well, it's reality. Well, it's both. And together they can rise. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands. I don't know what to do with my hands. Help me, Tom Cruise. I need more energy. Anyway, Tom Cruise is... we need to pray for Tom Cruise. That's the message today. Get out there, read your Bible, go tell somebody about the Lord, and drink a lot of water. All right, Rock Hill. Go get them. Where's the off button on this thing? What's it doing? I really don't know what to do with my hands right now.